So, I'm going to talk a little bit about myself so you guys can know who I am. My name's Brianna. I'm going to be giving a lot of this presentation. I'm from the Kiwanis Family Relations Committee. I am a first year at UF. My major is history and I'm pre-law. So, I've been doing a lot of work with Pi Alpha Delta, which is a pre-law frat, and of course CKI. And I am about to start an internship for a judge in my area. So if anyone wants to ask me anything about pre-law or internships, externships, um, getting involved with law through CKI, let me know and I'd be happy to talk. I will also probably at the end include my email if anyone wants to reach out and ask more questions. Neha, do you want to talk about who you are?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Neha. I'm serving as the Vice President for Circle K International. And I am a third year at The Ohio State University, and I'm studying operations management with minors in global public health and this thing called the Dean's Leadership Academy. But I was also a member of Key Club 2 and Builders Club, so I'm very excited to be with the committee. That's part of the role as Vice President is getting to lead the committee. So very excited to share what our committee has kind of put together and hopefully give you guys some insights about how you can kind of use Key Club and those experiences if you're considering applying to college and even if you're not within the Kiwanis family in general. But yeah, we're very excited that you all were able to make it today. So yeah, with that, we'll go ahead and get started.
All right, guys. So, there we go.
There we go.
Like I said,
Yeah.
my name's Brianna, and I'm going to be leading this presentation. So, welcome. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I'm sure all of my Kiwanis committee appreciates it too. So, on today's schedule, we're going to be talking about College Decision Making 101, breakout sessions with, oh, there we go, breakout sessions with CKI alumni or CKI leaders in the committee, and then insights from our CKI alumni, Dr. Kelsey, in higher education. And then we'll be doing CKI and Key Club trivia. And then if you guys haven't joined yet, there's a link for the Mentimeter up top with the code. Just type it in Google, menti.com, and then type in the code on the screen. Or the QR code, whatever's easier for you. All right, we've got a lot of this in the chat of what district you're from, but if you're in the Mentimeter and can add yourself on the bulletin, feel free and get at it. Let's see. Oh, Jamaica. Thais, I think that might be you. Where is that? California, Nevada, New York, New Jersey, Canada. Canada's cold. All right. Lot of Northerners. Las Vegas. Fun city. Perfect. It looks like everyone's getting into the Mentimeter. I appreciate that. Maryland. Nice. Maryland's a beautiful state. Wow, there are a lot of you up north. I guess I will be repping Florida. All right. Neha, if you're ready to Jamaica. All right. So, like I said, the first thing that we're going to be talking about is the college decision making process. So, I know that for the college decision making process, they throw a lot of terms at you and they don't really explain it too much what it means. So, we're just going to break down the four main ways of applying pretty quickly and simply. So, early decision is a binding contract. If you are admitted, you must go. Not every school has this, but if you choose to apply to a school with this and through this program, you do not get to change your mind because tuition's more than you thought it would be, cost of living's more than you thought it would be in that city. You decided you don't like the cold or you don't like the heat. This means that whatever your circumstance, for the most part, you must go. And then with that, you can only apply to one school when you do this. And don't think that you can pull a fast one on the admissions committee. They will find out if you do two. Even if you think you'll only get into one, trust me, it's not worth it. It will not work out well for you. And then if you apply early decision, you can still apply to the other options like early action, regular decision, and rolling. But those, if you get into one there, you still have to pick the early decision. It's just a backup. And then ED2 is something you'll see a lot on applications. So early decision 2 means that if you're late applying or you didn't get into your ED1 choice, you can either reapply early decision round 2 or apply to another school early decision 2. But keep in mind, early decision 2 is still binding. It's still the same contract. Okay? Also, if anyone at any point wants to take pictures of these slides, feel free. And then early action. Early action, unlike early decision, even though they sound similar, is not binding. You just receive your decision earlier. So you can apply to multiple, you can apply to as many as you want. There isn't a restriction. And then typically, this is the best option to receive merit scholarships because the longer you wait to apply, the more money has already been given out. And most schools have a finite amount of money that they are giving out to schools. So applying early is going to be your best bet if you're looking for scholarships. Regular decision is the majority of applications. So it's a later deadline than early action, which means you have more time if you want to submit a new SAT, or you're not done with one of your essays, or you're missing some component to stop yourself from submitting to early action. So this can be beneficial, but the downside is it's a later acceptance date, so you won't know longer. And then also sometimes a lot of money has already been given out to early decision and early action. And then rolling. Rolling is something that if your school offers that you're applying to has multiple different avenues, you might not want to wait till rolling because it's space available, meaning that they don't have a specific amount of people they're looking to enroll. It's only if there's not enough seats filled, which can be difficult because you can be an exceptional student, but if they don't have seats available, you're out of luck. So, later application deadline, which means you have more time to work on your materials, but like I said, as seats fill, that's you running out of slots, and most scholarships are already awarded. So, your chance of getting a merit scholarship is a lot lower than early decision, early action, or even regular. All right. So choosing a school is something that is very personal to everybody, but some things that you're going to want to think about, one of them being location. So is the school that you're applying to close to family? Is that a priority for you? Do you want to be far, far away or do you want to stay close near home, like within driving distance or a short plane ride? So that's something personal you might want to consider when you're picking your college. Weather. If you're going to be miserable in the cold, don't go to Michigan. If you're going to be miserable in the heat, maybe don't pick Florida. So just making sure that you're going to be comfortable and happy in the environment that you choose is important. And then the job market. This is something that people a lot of times don't talk about enough, but choosing an area for your school is important. So thinking about where geographically your school is located relative to where you want to work. Because typically alumni networks are strong around the campus or in the state if that's where you choose to work. So if you know you want to work in Missouri, maybe not going to Arkansas would make sense. Maybe going somewhere in Missouri. And then also just thinking about how the degree at that school will transfer into the job market. And then size. Do you thrive in big cities or small towns? Big lectures or small classes? That can really make or break your college experience. And then types of education and career prospects. So a lot of schools, you might hear technical school like Georgia Tech or certain like codes on schools. So a lot of schools focus either on a couple of things maybe, but really one or two. STEM, humanities, hospitality, other niche fields like tech. So picking something that's good for your major and a good career prospect makes a lot of sense. And then same thing with liberal arts, engineering, classical. Pick an environment and a curriculum that's going to make sense for you and your interests and values. All right. So again, there's three kind of main categories for picking a school. There's the four-year traditional university or college, which is public or private, and then again, college or university. This is a bunch of options across the country. Similarly, there's community college, but instead of 4-year degrees, they grant 2-year degrees. And oftentimes you will get transfer credit to then transition into a 4-year university. So for a lot of people, this can be a stepping stone to get into a full year, 4-year university, or just to save money, cut costs, or stay locally. And then the third category is vocational and technical schools. So this is a specialized program for specific trade and industry. So think an electrician or a mechanic. So credits may transfer to another university, but don't count on it. It's mainly a trade skill. And it's a great opportunity if you are focused on a specific field. So if you know you want to be a mechanic, choosing a vocational school might make the most sense for you. All right. This is a Mentimeter poll. I want to hear what you guys are the most excited for with college. Because college is a very exciting time. I want you guys to not be scared and be excited about this because college is a lot of fun. Let's see. Oh, making new friends. I will say, making new friends is one of the best parts of being in college. It just opens you up to a big network of people, and it's so great, especially in CKI. You're going to make a lot of friends in CKI if you guys join. Making new friends, exploring campus. Yeah, these are all great. I'm so excited for you guys. All right, back again. Choosing a school. Campus culture is important. So, social, competitive, collaborative. Some schools are very laid back and social. Some are very competitive. They don't want to share their resources. You're competing against your classmates. Some are very collaborative, emphasizing student-student, student-professor relationships and very communicative, collaborative, like team effort. None of these options are bad options. Just choose the one that fits you because you don't want to be in an environment you don't like because you're not going to perform as well. Same thing with SEC, HBCU, technology. These are specialized types of schools, I guess you could say, and choosing one that's going to make the most sense to you is important. And then campus organizations. This is one of my favorites. Volunteering is a great way to get involved in the community. CKI. CKI is a great campus organization. It's going to, like we just said on the last slide, make you a lot of friends, but we'll get into that later. Other types of campus organizations are pre-professional, think like pre-dental, pre-law, pre-med, religious interest in athletics. So getting involved in campus is so easy, guys. I promise you will make friends there. You just have to go. And then grade metrics. This one's a doozy, but if you guys listen to anything I say, alongside other things, please let it be this. If you are a pre-professional student, meaning pre-law, pre-PhD, pre-dental, pre-med, pre-anything that requires grad school, it is important to remember if your school is going to give you an A plus or an A. So a 4.3 or a 4.0 because things like LSAC, which is the law school application process, which I'm about to do, it means that you're going to be at a GPA disadvantage for certain schools because some people will be going in with potentially a 4.3, a 4.2, a 4.1 and competing against you when the highest that you can get is a 4.0. So remembering that is super important. All right, financial aid. So there are a ton of different options, but these are some of them. So scholarships include merit, external, talent, and donor. So a lot of different avenues. Grants have state, federal, and institutional access. Institutional meaning within your university, they may offer specific grants. And then self-help include loans and federal work study. I can talk more about federal work study later, but essentially think of it as a student job on campus that's designed to help you get through student debt and student loans. So it gives you more opportunities to work. All right. And then general scholarship information. This one's big. So Kiwanis as a whole organization is very generous. It is very important that you guys capitalize on this. So if you're looking within the Kiwanis family, check your state and district Kiwanis and Key Club specific opportunities. For me, that was the Florida Key Club website. They have a ton of scholarships and a ton of different ways to earn money for school. Do not underestimate yourself. Apply, apply, apply. And there's a good shot that you can get something. Same thing with local Kiwanis clubs. Be checking in on your local Kiwanis clubs. They can be very, very, very generous, and they want to help you as long as you put in the effort to be helped. And then same thing with Kiwanis Children's Fund. This is the Kiwanis whole organization overarching scholarship. So lots of money on the table, lots of ways to get help. And then outside the Kiwanis family, there's obviously other scholarships. Good ones to include are College Board, the Niche and Scholarship Owl, and then this is my personal recommendation, the Ultimate Scholarship Book. If you search this on Amazon, it will come up. Make sure to get this year's, and it's $30, but it is so worth it. It's huge. It has a ton of niche scholarships that they find every single year that are actually winnable. So I would totally recommend that. You can get so much money out of it. All right. Letters of recommendation. This is an important one. Please, please listen. They are very useful. So they're more than just college admissions. So think jobs, scholarships, the whole nine yards. You will need these almost forever. So get them early. Do not procrastinate this. I know that the desire to procrastinate is strong, but do not let it overtake you. If you have a teacher your junior year and you know you want to use them later, get them while you're fresh in their brain. So if you know that it's going to be a while and you want your sophomore teacher and you're a sophomore, ask now and keep it on the back burner so their information is fresh and accurate and can best portray you. And then send a brag sheet. If you want to include something that maybe they may not know, talk about it here. Let them know what your accomplishments are so they can highlight it. And then you can also suggest what they can focus on. So just gently pointing them direction, maybe a math teacher talking about problem solving skills. And then types of letter of recommendations you're going to want to get are two faculty and one outside source. So two teachers and maybe like a coach. And then ask for extras as fallbacks in case someone falls through or can't get it to you on time. And then ask for a scholarship letter of rec first, because this can kind of tell you if they're going to be a good recommender. You can't see what they're going to say in Common App, but you can see what kinds of general things they may say and how they will portray you to see if it's going to be helpful. And then choose people who actually know you. If you get an A in a class, that's great, but if they don't know who you are and provide something about your personality, your kindness, your work ethic, your drive, they might not be a good recommender because your transcript will tell you you're good at that class, but it won't tell you what kind of student you are. Interviews. So some schools have them, some don't, but these are good tips just to carry with you. If it's in person, dress professionally. If it's on Zoom, dress professionally. Just don't let that professionalism slip. So a lot of times interviews are held by alumni, admissions officers, and current students. So just keeping in mind professional tone, professional dress, whole nine yards, be respectful. Early is on time is late. Do not be late. Do not be on time. You will be early. Show up in the office, in the Zoom call early, and even if they don't let you in, they will notice. And then send a thank you email on the same day. This was a big one for me, especially with scholarships too. It's a way to stand out and make them remember you in their brain because they may be talking to a lot of students, but if you send a thank you note saying something specific about your conversation, it'll jog their memory and they'll be more likely to look at that page and see your name and think fondly of you, which is what you want. And then be you. You can't fake who you are for very long, so it's better to just be authentic. These are good general tips. So use a personal email for everything because you don't want something getting lost in your school email and keep it organized. Spreadsheets are your best friend. So I use a spreadsheet for where I'm applying for colleges, which applications have been finished, what scholarship deadlines are coming up, which ones I've submitted, which ones need more work. The whole nine yards, spreadsheets will keep you organized. They're so important. Use the Google Sheets, they're great. And then check portals and emails frequently. You don't want to miss a deadline because I did that and I didn't find out somewhere I got in till like 4 days later. And that excitement was not the same because I had forgotten. And then file your FAFSA early. Get it done early, get it out of the way. Lots of applications, scholarships, everything will need it. So just have it out of your brain. And then apply early when and where you can. Like I said, you want all the opportunity to get in and you want all the scholarship money, so be early. And then it's okay to plagiarize yourself. You can reuse the same essay for multiple scholarships. Actually, I'd encourage it because it cuts down a lot of work for you. And then remember, this is so important. College decisions do not determine your worth. Like, I want everyone to hear that. Where you get in, really at the end of the day, doesn't matter. You are going to be the same person, just as successful, just as smart, wherever you go, because the self drive and ambition is going to be with you no matter what college you go to and what prestige or lack thereof you have. Just keep being yourself and keep being hardworking and driven, and you'll be okay. I promise. You will forget after a month. All right, guys, drop what kind of career you want to pursue. Very interested. What else do we got in there? Education. I am actually doing an education minor right now. Education is very important. Medicine. Medicine's so hard. Same thing with business, nonprofit organization, business management, nursing. Nursing's so important. Thank you to all of our future nurses. Yeah, you can say undecided. A lot of people are undecided. We actually are going to have a workshop about this where we'll talk about it more. Engineering. Okay. Very ambitious people. Law. All right. This is so fun. What is CKI Circle K International? CKI is one of the world's largest collegiate service organizations, and it's the college branch of Key Club. CKI has 6,265 members plus, over 334 clubs, and across 29 districts. So, if you aren't already convinced by Key Club, these are great reasons to get involved in CKI. So, community. You will make lifelong friendships and be part of a diverse and welcoming community in CKI. Leadership, so across clubs, districts, international levels, there will be opportunities for you to take a leadership role and really just shine in service. And then numerous workshops, conventions, events are offered throughout the year. Think of CKI like a sponge. You just want to soak up all the knowledge that you can, and we're here to provide it. And then networking is something really important. You can tap into our global network for personal and professional growth, like Dr. Kelsey's here right now. And then at the heart of it all, we are a service organization. Our members join to serve others, and CKI lets you have these resources to really take your service up a next level. We are so helpful and just want to see everyone thrive in service. And then we have a bunch of other offerings as well, like the Alumni Network. So our four core service initiatives are childhood development, food and housing insecurity, mental health, and environmental justice. We do other things as well, but these are our kind of four focuses. So our partners are UNICEF USA, the Nature Conservancy, and Active Minds. So these are organizations we work with pretty closely, pretty regularly. And then getting involved on campus. I kind of mentioned this before, different categories, just pick what you're interested in, and if you will probably succeed in it, and you will make friends along the way, which is super important. And then same thing with CKI, getting involved, you're going to make friends, you're going to have hobbies and passions that you can share with other people. And the benefits of getting involved on campus is leadership, community service. You develop your resume, which is really important, meeting friends, and then just networking and personal growth. And then how to join these? Typically, a fair is hosted at the beginning of the semester to learn about all the organizations. It's scary. Please go. You're going to see people. Everyone's going to ask the same questions. It's going to be a lot of fun, I promise. I hope you guys all had fun with your breakout rooms. Just as a reminder, if you guys want to stay after the rest of the presentation concludes and ask more questions, we're here to help you. But with that being said, we are now going to hear from our CKI alumni, Dr. Lisa Kelsey. She is an Assistant Dean and Director of Academic Arts at Moraine Valley Community College. So Dr. Kelsey, can you tell us a little bit more about what you do?
First of all, thank you for the invitation to come join you today. And such an exciting time for everyone. Thinking about what college to go to and making all those decisions. Just enjoy this time because it's going to be overwhelming, but also very exciting all at the same time. As Brianna said, my name is Dr. Lisa Kelsey. I'm actually an alumni of Key Club and Circle K. I was a lieutenant governor in Key Club, and then in Circle K, I went to the University of Akron and I became a Circle K International trustee by the time I graduated. Um, I actually went through three majors as an undergrad. So I'm the one who earlier said it's okay to be undecided because you might change your major while you're in school, and that's okay as well. Because you need to take classes and find out what you like and what you don't like. So I actually had three different majors by the time I graduated, and I graduated with elementary education, taught school for a while, liked it, but I didn't love it. What I did love was all the experience I had as a college student, working with the college administrators, working as a college leader, working in Circle K. I did quite a lot of different organizations as an undergrad. And that's what, when I looked back, that's what I really loved. So I start doing some informational interviews to figure out how can I do something like what they did? I didn't know that there was a degree in higher education that I could pursue. And then I started on that path. So I earned a master's degree in student personnel administration and higher education, and then worked again in higher ed. And then I went for my doctorate in higher education. So I've actually worked in higher education now for around 30 years. I am the assistant dean and director of academic arts. What does that mean? I'm actually at a community college now, but I've worked at 2-year and 4-year institutions, urban, suburban, in many different states. I actually work directly with our faculty in the music, theater, arts, humanities, and philosophy areas. And it is a lot of fun. Just think about those creative types all in the same building, having a lot of conversations all the time. So I hear music, I see students drawing, I see students acting. It's just a really creative building that I'm in, which is a lot of fun. So I work a lot with curriculum and I work a lot with students. So there's definitely some tips that I'm going to give you what I have experienced over the years, because I've worked in admissions, I've worked in alumni affair. I've just worked in a lot of different aspects of higher education. One of the items that Brianna had mentioned was using your email address. I would highly recommend that if you don't already have a professional sounding email, to create one. I have seen some crazy types of email addresses from students over the years, and a lot of those go into spam. So you want to make sure that you are choosing an appropriate email address that you are using to email the schools. You'll also use that when you're emailing internships. And when you're a college student, you will have an actual college email address, which you can use for your professionalism. Brianna also talked about the two-year college option and transferring. That is actually what's called articulation agreements. A lot of two-year colleges have these with four-year colleges. And it's agreement between the 2-year and the 4-year college that if you complete the 2 years at the community college, you get your degree, then you transfer automatically with all those credits, provided you got C's or higher, and into that 4-year program. And a lot of times those articulation agreements also comes with scholarships. So if you follow the prescribed curriculum and you transfer to that school, you also get extra money, which is really helpful. I'd also say try things you never thought that you liked. For example, I have some students that I work with in the communication area. We host a regional writing competition. It's 8 different schools. And, we encourage students sometimes to submit that work for the competition, and then they win. And they often tell me, they're like, I'm not a writer. I said, well, clearly you are, because a professional author just chose your piece to be a winning piece for the region. So take chances, do something you've never done before, explore all things that college has for you. I also don't recommend to join every single organization out there. Pick something in your major, pick something that you really enjoy doing. If community service is what you've loved doing with Key Club, join Circle K. It's a continuation, a great opportunity to meet people. I can say I'm still friends today, 30 years later, with people that I met back in Key Club as well as in Circle K. I was a maid of honor recently for somebody that I was friends with in Circle K. A lot of my friends in Circle K never lived in the same state as them, never went to the same school as them, never went to the same country as them, but yet we became friends over all of these years. So I see some really good questions here. So I'm gonna, if it's okay, just to pop in and start answering some of the questions. So what inspired me to work in higher education? Um, that was because of the administrators I worked with in college. I got to see what they did, and I had no idea that you could actually get a degree to do what they did. And I really enjoyed working and planning events, working with other students, working with the community, helping others. I just really liked that. And so I ended up going to that field. And now I also teach at the college level, helping those who want to be teachers and help those who want to work in higher education. Why did I choose University of Akron? Uh, Funny story with that. My mother wanted me to go at the school down the street, which was a 10-minute drive. I did not want to stay that close. And when I did my site visit, my on-campus visit to the University of Akron, I just fell in love with the college. My mom did not. I think it was mostly because it was an hour drive away and I'd have to live on campus and I couldn't commute. But I just fell in love with the community. I fell in love with the campus, the people I met with. Of course, I went there for my major, which I ended up not graduating with, but through that process, I was able to find some other majors that really were a better fit for me. I just really enjoyed being at the University of Akron. And that's what you have to do when you do your college tours. You really need to go to the campus, talk to students, talk to the administrators, get a feel for the campus. Because yes, you could look at all the pretty pictures online and on the website, but until you actually go and see it in person, that will make all the difference. My favorite part is working as a Circle K International trustee. Ooh. Um, Back then, we actually had three districts that we worked with. My districts were Alabama, Michigan, and New York. Completely different districts. I really enjoyed working with all of them and mentoring them to become the leaders that they became. I really enjoyed that process of it, as well as the core group of the international officers. I'm still friends with all of them today, this day, and that was a really great experience. What do you consider to be a professional email address? Um, that's a great question. I would say something like your first name and your last name. I would avoid your birth year, your birth date, obscure words, inappropriate words. I would avoid all of that. Your professional email address should basically be your name. So your first name, period, last name, or your first name underscore your last name, or your last name, then your first name. So think about that. You may have to play around with it in case somebody else has your same name out there. What was your Circle K journey to trustee? Um, I was actually, when I got involved with Circle K, my very first meeting, I was elected as the club president, based on my what they knew of me from the Key Club years. And from there, I ended up joining the district, Ohio district, as a district service chair. And then I decided to run off the floor for a trustee position at the request of multiple governors who requested that I did that. There were actually three of us that year that ran off the floor at the request of different governors, and the three of us were elected from the floor that year. And it was an amazing experience. And I also had laryngitis. So that was a fun time trying to give a speech on the floor to be elected as trustee. So, how did Circle K help you in college? Oh my, that helped so much. In high school, I was not a good student. I'm honest about that with students all the time. I was not a very good student, barely finished. My freshman and sophomore year were really bad grade-wise, but junior, senior year, I turned it around in high school. And so when I got to college, kind of get to start over. And that's the really great thing is when you go from high school to college, your grades don't come with you. You start over and it's up to you to keep your grades. So Circle K really allowed me to grow as a leader, grow my organizational skills. And that just helped me in my college experience and as well as helps me today. Um, Oh, did you use what you learned in Key Club Circle K at work? Yes, very much so. A lot of Key Club and Circle K, I organized a lot of events and a lot of programs, a lot of activities, and all of that helps me now. I plan events all the time at work, and a lot of that I did back in Key Club and Circle K, as well as reaching out to the community. So I definitely use what I learned in Key Club and Circle K all the time at work. Oh, what advice do you have for writing essays when applying for college scholarships? You know what? The people who give out scholarships like to see well-rounded individuals. Yes, you might have perfect grades, but what else have you done? Have you volunteered in your community as a high school student? Have you been a student leader in a student organization? Talk about all of that. I highly recommend you don't use AI to write your essay for you, because the people reading it will see that right away. I would say talk from the heart. Talk about how that experience has helped you. What have you learned from your volunteer experience? What have you learned from the classroom? What have you learned from being a student leader? That's what you want to put in your college scholarship. You bring your heart into that scholarship application. I do read a lot of scholarships and they never answer the question. So make sure you're answering the question. A lot of times the student has a really great story, but it didn't answer the question. So double check that. Also do a spell check. And if you're writing a letter, as Brianna was saying earlier, to a college scholarship, and you're reusing the letter, multiplying, that's fine. But make sure you are double checking you're sending the right letter addressed to the right person to the right school. Too often I've seen letters come in that they are applying for something at a completely different school or have somebody's name that doesn't even work at my college. Um, if a student were to come to you looking to get more involved in any type of project, what do you recommend? Ooh, it kind of depends on what type of skill set they want to learn. I always tell college students, look at the job ads of a job that you want one day, maybe 5 years down the road, maybe even 10 years down the road. What are the skill sets listed in that job? Let's say you want to be a lawyer, or you want to be a teacher, or you want to be a doctor. What skill set do you need? How can you get those skills? So, for some industries, you have to know a lot about critical thinking. So, what's a project you could take on that could help you with building that skill of critical thinking? You want to be able to do that so that when you apply for a job that's similar to that 5, 10 years down the road, you have the skill sets and you can prove it in your interviews and in your applications. So I would turn it around. If a student came to me asking that, I would turn around and say, what skills are you trying to build? Because that would help me in working with you to create a project that would be helpful for that. Oh, I don't know if there were other questions, but they disappeared on my screen.
All right. Thank you so much for answering so many of our questions, Dr. Kelsey. You have been so insightful. I really appreciate it.
I'm happy to do that.
Thank you. You really provided a window into like a lot of the world we don't see as students, so I think that we can all say we really appreciate that. So thank you.
Sure.
And then to wrap it up, I just want to say to all of you, whatever you do it for you. Nobody else is gonna be able to make this decision for you. Not your parents, your family, your friends, partners. Pick what is right for you. It's a big decision, and keep your options open. Look at different places, different scholarships. Be broad, and it'll work itself out, I promise. All right. And then we should have one more slide with the survey. And then again, guys, if you have any more questions, comments, concerns, anything, want my email, feel free to stick around after. And then before you guys all head out, if you guys can take this CKI interest survey, if we have compelled you at all to join CKI when you go to college, fill out the survey and we can hopefully get you more involved with CKI when you transition into college. And then our next event will be February 2nd.
Don't forget to take that survey. You might get a chance to win a free CKI membership. So that's pretty good. So I would highly recommend you guys to take that survey. Even if you're not sure what school you're going to or if college is the next step, take that survey so we can kind of gather information and make sure that you have the most up-to-date information on us and our future events. But yeah, thank you all for joining and have a great evening. And we hope to see you guys at our next event. But yeah, thank you all.